Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, community focus on Washington County. And we're very happy to have with us today Ryan Brown with the Red Cross.
Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome, Ryan.
Glad to be here.
So, Ryan, we haven't had the opportunity to meet before, but I'm a supporter of the Red Cross, and you know, we used to serve on a local board and before the reorganization, and so there are lots of happenings, I know, going on with the Red Cross.
Yes, ma'am.
We still have our blood drives here.
Yes, ma'am.
Many. Our community in Washington County are definitely supporters of the Red Cross.
Excellent.
So, what is your capacity with the Red Cross?
I am a senior recruitment specialist, and that is a very long term for a volunteer recruiter. So I help recruit volunteers for all of the wonderful volunteer opportunities that we provide. And of course, knowing that you know much about the Red Cross, that we are a volunteer organization, volunteer-led, volunteer-based organization. That is our workforce. And so my job is pretty pivotal and critical to the mission being delivered.
Yeah. Well, you know, I always have to clarify this because there's always those rumors that go around about the Red Cross, and I'm sure you know what it is. That all our money goes to their CEO and blah, blah, you know. And that is not true.
That is correct. That is not true.
So if you would elaborate on that, I would appreciate it.
Sure. 90% of our workforce is volunteers. 90%. And 92 cents of every dollar goes to help and to our mission. So to helping those who, our mission is to alleviate human suffering by mobilizing the power and generosity of volunteers and donors.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. And so, no, it's not outlining my pockets, that's for sure. And it's not outlining our CEO either.
Yeah.
She's a very hard worker, Jennifer Adrio, and she's done some amazing things in a short time that she's been there, 5 years, I believe, and she's continuing to press us in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with the, reorganization, I know, of course, Washington County is a part of the Louisville region, and I guess are you statewide, or are you with the Louisville?
I am statewide. My region is South Central Kentucky. That's where I recruit volunteers from, which Washington kind of falls in there just partly. Mm-hmm. I help out Louisville, of course, but then Bluegrass area as well, and then wherever else I'm needed.
Okay. So, Ryan, now, these days, to become a volunteer, mm-hmm. you need to get online, I think, correct. And do your application there.
That is correct. That is.
So, you know, there are still people that don't prefer to get online.
Totally understand, and if those people will call me, I will walk them through and or do it for them. I've done that before as well. It's not something we do all the time, but it's something that we definitely do for our valued volunteers.
Okay. So, if someone, now, give us an idea as to the kinds of ways that you can volunteer.
Oh, goodness. There's some great ways to volunteer, and some of the most pressing right now, we have our Sound the Alarm event that's going on. And so Sound the Alarm is where the Red Cross National has said, we're going to go into homes and we're going to install free smoke detectors and replace their batteries and teach the kids and the parents about fire safety and preparedness for disasters. And it all became about because of the amount of deaths that have happened because of fire. And probably you do not know this, and many don't know this, but Kentucky ranks #2 in the nation in home fires.
Oh my gosh.
Only second to only one other place, New York City, to be exact.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. When you think about that, not recently, but from just, and I don't know the exact number, I think it's like 871, but 871 home fires have happened this fiscal year already. That's July 1 to where we currently are.
Oh my gosh.
In the month of January, we had 117 fires throughout the region, actually in eastern Kentucky. And so here in this area, I'm trying to get the numbers, but I know it's somewhere in the 80s. So it's something that is pretty prevalent and a huge need.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that, so with that, you know, putting the smoke alarms in, now you haven't done that in Washington County.
No, not as of yet. We're working towards moving in that direction. One of the things is we have signature cities, and so Louisville, and then we've got a radius that we have to be able to go out from. So we're definitely taking note and saying to national, hey, we understand that Louisville's our signature, but we need to be in these counties that really need us, and we really need to be targeting these areas. So we're working towards that, and I expect that in the next year or two you'll see us out here.
I think I might even have some sponsors for you.
Well, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So, but, you know, as you say, there's a need for it everywhere. And most of Kentucky is rural. And so, you know, it's a problem that, you know, a lot of households aren't educated on that subject, perhaps. Or, you know, like some of us, I mean, I've had a fire myself. So, you know, I didn't have the smoke detector evidently in the right place.
That's right.
And of course, sometimes, you know, they're not working.
That's correct.
Too. So I know you all focus on a particular date or time of year to check your smoke alarms.
That's correct.
I don't know when that is. You might have already had it.
We probably already had that.
Yeah.
The Sound the Alarm events run from April 27th to May 12th.
Okay.
So throughout that period, we're going to be doing all these different events throughout not just Louisville, but the Bluegrass area, Lexington, Cynthiana, Georgetown, Eastern Kentucky, as well as Western Kentucky, Paducah. I mean, we're all over the state trying to get things taken care of. Muhlenberg, I know that just happened or is happening on the 27th as well. So, so wonderful opportunities for you know, volunteers to get involved.
Yeah.
And even somebody who's not a volunteer at Red Cross can come and experience it, and hopefully, you know, because of their efforts, ultimately save a life.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then of course, once I mean, if you do have a fire, of course, one of the most important volunteer jobs, as far as I'm concerned, is, and that's, you know, here in this county, we don't have anyone fulfilling that role at this point, and that is responding to the fire.
That's correct. Our DAT responders, as we like to call them, local DAT responders, and DAT stands for Disaster Action Team.
Yeah.
These are the individuals who get those calls from the fire department and say, hey, we've got a fire, and they roll on out, and they go and they talk with the families, and they handle the families in spiritual care, providing for their immediate material needs, and helping them financially along the way, and then casework as well, helping them to, you know, regrow and get back together what they've lost, and hopefully recoup everything.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, and that's where some of the people that donate to the Red Cross, that's where some of their money goes, and that's for disaster response. And like in a fire, I know here in this county, we have had, you know, we've given money to a family that's been displaced because of a fire, you know, so they can stay in the hotel, get diapers for the baby,
Yes,
get food, you know, get clothes, and, you know, all of those things that you, like you say, you need immediately, and those monies have gone for that. So that's really important, I think.
Absolutely. It's a huge need, and we would love to have somebody and somebody's step up to that local DAT response. And because, you know, disaster is one of the almost a very, and I don't want to use the word, but sexy, you know, it appeals to many people, because it's like, oh, it's a large disaster, everybody's getting involved, and it's great, and it's wonderful. But then there's those local disasters, which do not get the same attention, and yet they are huge. We have a huge need there as well to fill that void. And so, yeah, we'd love to have volunteers do that.
So if you wanted to volunteer, then you would register online.
That's
so
correct.
you would go to
redcross.org/volunteer.
Okay.
That's all they need to go to, and then from there they'll apply to be a volunteer. And
and they'll choose the kind of things they want to volunteer
they can choose,
for.
and if they don't choose, it's okay as well, because we'll have screeners. I have wonderful volunteers who are screeners who will call them and say, hey, see you're interested in volunteering with us. tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What do you want to do? What areas are you thinking of volunteering in? And they'll help them steer them in the right direction and then vet them to the right person and hopefully get them improved and going.
Yeah. So what are some of the other ways that besides disaster? I mean, well, if you're doing that, you could respond to a fire. You could, like you said, respond to a big disaster.
Yes.
So, for example, here when we had the ice storm a few years ago, we had to set up a shelter in the school, and there were people that came in and set up the cots and did this and got the kitchen running and what have you.
Yeah.
So they could respond in that way as well.
Yes, ma'am. They definitely could. We have a program through disaster called Pillowcase Project, where we go into schools and we have presenters who present to 3rd and 5th grade, through 5th grade rather. Hey, here's being prepared for a disaster, being prepared, and what do you need to do? What kind of escape plan do you have? Are you able to get out of your house in 2 minutes or less? These are things that we work with and go through with these 3rd to 5th grade students, and we've seen huge impacts. In fact, we saw one in Louisville where we did a pillowcase project, then the next week they had a fire, and the family was safe because the kids knew exactly what to do.
Wow.
Yes, that's a huge testament. And right now we're currently at 57 lives saved throughout the state of Kentucky based on the efforts of putting in smoke detectors. Going back to those smoke detectors, yes, we do our sound the alarm event, and it's just that one time, but we do have HFC, which is our home fire campaign, which is where individuals continue the sound the alarm, but they do it on a smaller basis. And so they'll work with the fire departments and other emergency management teams, and they'll go into these homes and do it maybe on a weekend or whatever day they're free to do it on, and just do a couple of homes, 20 homes or something of that nature. But you've made 20 homes safer.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's another huge need of ours as well.
So you would organize that through the Red Cross.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
I see. Okay. So, and then we've had people that lived here in this community that actually were disaster responders and even went to other countries to respond, or to other states,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm just amazed by that, and of course you have to have the time to do that, but what a wonderful experience to be able to go and do whatever, cook, or I don't know,
Yes, ma'am.
there's lots of opportunities in there.
Lots of opportunities, yes.
Yeah. And so then what are there, and of course with the blood drive, I saw where you were needing some people to volunteer for blood services in Nelson County, I think.
That is correct, as a donor ambassador, which is really one of the most beneficial for the blood side of the Red Cross positions, because it's the individual who goes to the drives and then welcomes the people that come in, the donors that come in, and then makes sure that they have a good experience. And then, of course, giving them a food, a beverage, a snack, whatever it might be, and just helping them through that process.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding and pretty much instantaneous as far as making an impact in somebody's life. So it's amazing. We've polled the donors and we've said, hey, what have you liked? And they said, we like the volunteers. If the volunteers are nice, donors are more likely, yep, I'm coming back and I'm bringing a friend with me as well.
Yeah.
So the more donor ambassadors we can have that sign up and go to these drives, it'd be wonderful. And we're not talking like all day. We're talking 4-hour shift. We're talking a 5-hour shift. These drives can run from 2 to 7, sometimes. Or they can be from the daytime, 10 to 4, whatever it might be. But we'll take you. We'll take you. And
even if you can only come in for, say, a couple of hours.
Yes, that's right. It'd be better than nothing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, I know that's. I think. We have a lot of people in this county that do that, and we're very fortunate on that.
Yes.
And it does make for a good experience when you go in and give blood, and it's kind of fun to see everybody.
Can be.
The volunteers get to see everybody and find out the news, what's going on, and everybody's everybody's always so upbeat, and because you're giving,
Yes.
you're giving blood or you're giving of your time, and so it's everyone's always so upbeat and friendly, kind of puts you in a good mood.
I agree. And, there's some of those individuals who just can't give blood for whatever reason it might be, medical or something of that nature. And I would suggest to them, try a donor ambassador position. You're not, you can't give in the blood region, but man, you can give back in another way with your time and, yourself being present and helping out those donors.
Yeah. Are there any other ways that we should be aware of to volunteer?
In Louisville, we're in need of transportation specialists, and this is a pretty extensive job in the sense of driving blood and blood products and delivering it to the local hospitals or taking it further as well, E-Town and different places of that nature. That's a huge position, but it also has that immediate impact as well, because I can remember a time I was talking with a transportation specialist. He said, I was in a elevator and I was going up, and the guy stopped me and said, "You're with the Red Cross?" I said, "Yeah," because he had the box, had his Red Cross tag and everything. And he said, "That blood is for my dad." Like, he knew that blood was for his dad. He knew that his dad needed a transfusion in order to live, and here's how he's going to live. And so we need those individuals who can, get up and go and take it. And so that's what we're in need of right now.
Wow. Well, and that's volunteer.
That is volunteer.
Uh-huh.
We've got a great team
I
of
assume they
volunteers.
pay you for your gas.
Yeah, we take care of all of the
so
gas.
much per mile or something like that.
Well, we give a vehicle. We give you a vehicle to drive.
Give you a vehicle to drive. Oh, that's
Provided
even better.
you pass the vehicle check. But most people pass their own vehicle check. It's not an issue. The background check is simple.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, because as a volunteer in any of these positions, you do have to have a background check.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And so when you, and then of course, you have to have training.
That's correct.
So how does, I think now, from my understanding, a lot of these trainings you can do online.
That is correct. A lot of them, it can be done online, and there is also quite a few of them being done face-to-face. It just depends on what you prefer. Our bio side, which is blood side, they're working with the volunteers that say, hey, I want to do a donor ambassador position, or I want to be a transportation specialist, and they'll have them come in. Especially with transportation specialists, they will have them go through a dry run so that they understand exactly what it is that they're going to be asked to do. With the donor ambassador position, I myself was on the bio side recruiting at one point in time, and I had some virtual trainings, and I also had some face-to-face trainings.
Okay.
And so it just depended on whose availability was what. And so yeah, we try to cater to everybody as much as possible.
Yeah. So if you okay. So if you're not one of those tech-savvy people, you can call you.
That's correct.
And you will help them get through the process.
That's correct. And I will direct them to the right person as what they're looking to do as well.
Okay. And then that person who you direct them to would provide them with some training.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, one of the things that, we're in need of here, as I mentioned, is the someone to respond to a fire.
Yes,
to
ma'am.
help a family and all. And, we have some fires each year, and hopefully no family will be displaced, but there are occasionally.
There are times.
And but the disaster trainings is that online now? All of that?
It is. There's 5 courses, I believe, that have to be taken in order to be approved as a disaster action team member. Now, to become, what we'll do is we'll put you in a disaster action team trainee. So that means you're learning all of the ropes. You're learning, you're going, you're shadowing somebody, you're hopefully being mentored by someone as well. We've been working on getting some mentoring going on, and it's been really helpful as well. So once those trainings are complete, then you'll be promoted to that member position, and you'll be on call.
And how long is that training now? Because, for a while it got pretty complicated.
Yes, it was at one point in time. It has been trimmed down. And it's, I wouldn't say about 3 hours or 4 hours, but here's the thing. You can take it at your leisure. You can take it, take one class now, wait another couple hours, next day, take the other class. It's up to you how you want to do it.
Uh-huh. And it's a total of like 4 hours now?
I believe so.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's better. And then what after that, online? Is there something else then that you do?
Not online.
Then you do something in person with somebody? Oh, you do the shadowing?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So, well, gosh, that's better because I have tried to recruit some people over here.
It is better. It is better.
And, you know, so, but we really need, you know, to, I mean, there's a few of us that consider doing it, but we just haven't, I don't know, every time, you know, we looked into the, I mean, we never got the training done. So, anyway, maybe this time we can.
Absolutely, and we're also providing those face-to-face trainings as well. So if that works better for you guys, we can do that as well.
Okay, okay. Well, that would be good. Would that be you that we would contact?
You would definitely, you can contact me, yes, and then I will, again, depending on where you are, because we have different DPMs, disaster program managers in different areas, and so I can send you to that individual, follow up with you, and follow up with them as well.
Yeah. So, is there anything that we, you know, haven't covered with regard to volunteer services?
Well, we talked about the blood.
Yeah.
We talked about the disaster and a home fire campaign and sound the alarm. I will mention again, if people are interested with Sound the Alarm, soundthealarm.org is where they'll go, and then they'll put in the zip code, and it'll bring up a 100-mile radius of all the events that are listed. And so you're going to have to go through quite a bit of events because Cincinnati's included in there by, you know, not by mistake, but because it's 100 miles away from us. It might not be from here, but in Louisville it is. And so you'll see the Louisville ones. May 11th is the big one at Valley Station in Louisville, and so there's other places. We try to target and, you know, select specific homes, mainly mobile homes and you know, trailer parks.
Right.
Because if one goes up, you could have several that go up pretty instantaneous.
And they can go up pretty fast.
And they go up very fast, very fast.
So, so you're needing volunteers to go to the homes and give out the smoke alarms and show them how to.
Yes. And I will say,
or you help install them too.
Absolutely. We help install, we help educate, and we record who the family is, and that way we can follow up with them and make sure everything is going the way it needs to.
So if you want to do that, how much training do you need for that?
It's about 40, 45 minutes, maybe even less than that, and it's actually the day of the event we'll do it, because we'll provide breakfast, we'll provide lunch, and we'll provide snacks.
Oh, you can't beat that.
And a T-shirt.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
you're making it hard to pass that out.
That's exactly right. So that's what we want to do.
Yeah. So, and that will be in Louisville, but
that's correct.
Outside of Louisville, anywhere close to this vicinity?
There's quite a few. Again, soundalarm.org will give you those lists.
Okay.
I know I've put in quite a bit, so I'm trying to remember where they all are. South Central and this runs in together too, so there might be some that are closer.
Okay.
Down towards South Central.
Okay, so you put in soundthealarm.org, and that information will come up.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Now, and anything else you want to mention?
No, please volunteer. We can't do it without you. We can't push. We can't do our mission without our volunteers. So we need to have volunteers who will give of themselves and give of their times to help others. Right.
Well, it's certainly a very, very worthy cause, and we have been the recipients of that right here in this county.
Excellent.
Of Red Cross services. So, we're happy to have you, and I hope we can get some volunteers through your interview with us today.
Yes, ma'am.
Ryan, so if you would just share that information one more time, how people can volunteer, either online or with you, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. So if you go to redcross.org/volunteer, that's one way to do it online. That's the quickest way. It's the only way, actually, that we can get you as a volunteer. But then you can call me at 502-648-6991. If it's easier for you to text, then you can text me as well. And email at ryan.brown@redcross.org. And that'll be the easiest way to get in contact with me, and I will take care of every single one who does.
Well, thank you very much for
Yes,
being
ma'am.
here today, and we hope the Channel 6 listeners will give you a call.
Sounds good to me, Lisa. Thank
Thanks,
you so very
Ryan.
much.
Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.